A $1 or $2 million company is a completely different animal from a $10 million company. So $1 or $2 million company will have like 5 or 10 employees. It's basically a glorified one-man band. It really does revolve around the owner, and everybody is doing help and support and production and whatever. But typically the owner is holding everything together, and they're the main sales and marketing person. And it's usually very entrepreneurial and maybe even very personal. It might be artistic, if you will. A $10 million company usually has like 30 employees, and they have some form of HR, and they have processes and procedures, and they have a sales team, and they have a marketing team, and it's not the owner who is doing all that stuff. And getting from one state to the other has a whole bunch of catch-22s. The first one is the $2 million company. It's getting too big to not have systems, but it's not big enough to have developed the systems. There's a comfort level where it can run just fine. But then if you turn up the gas and you try to expand, you spend more money on marketing, you do all that kind of stuff, you just start burning out the clutch. There are scalability issues where it might be that the owner can close 70% of the sales, but a hired gun only closes 40% of the sales, and the difference between the 70 and the 40 is too much. A lot of times there are fundamental marketing scalability issues where nobody has figured out advertising channels or offers that will scale to a larger level. And so a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, okay, I got to 1.5 million, so I'm just going to do more of what got me here from 500K. It never gets them above the chasm, and the owner starts to hate their life. There's all of these fires that are being put out, and I'm always getting dragged into the swamp. And so it usually takes about 3 different forms of a phase transition in order for this to work. There's an operational phase transition. There's a sales and marketing and marketplace phase transition. And then there's a mindset phase transition, and they all have to happen at once. And so we call that the 7-figure desert, because I've hardly ever met any owner of a $4 or $5 million company who's happy. I know a lot of $1 and $2 million owners that are happy, and they've got they're a one-man band, but they get a vacation, their team does stuff for them. But there's a huge payoff for getting to the 10 million. And here's what it is. A $2 or $3 million company is usually worth, like if somebody was going to buy it, it's usually worth 1 or 2x sales. If the company's at $1.5 million revenue, it might be worth $3 million. That's what somebody would pay for it. A company that's at 10 million is probably worth 4x sales. So for a $10 million company, that'd be 40. You could triple the size of your company, but the company becomes 10 times more valuable. It is because the company is much more stable, because it actually is an investment. So if you were to buy a typical $2 million company and the owner handed you the car keys and said, thanks for the check, see you in 2 years, I'm going on vacation, you just inherited his job, and you have to hire somebody at least as expensive as him to do that job, and you have to teach him that job, which means all you did was you bought yourself a job. A company that has scaled the 7-figure desert and done those phase transitions like I told you about has replaceable ownership, and it functions much more like an investment than a job that has tools that you bought to do your job better.